In the hyper-calculated city of Synapse, life was lived in the present tense and the passive voice. There were no once-upon-a-times, only current statuses. Cashin and Lyra were the city's most efficient unit. Their relationship was a series of spreadsheets, caloric intake synchronization, and operational updates. They believed they were the perfect couple because they never argued. They didn't realize they never argued because they never actually spoke. They had forgotten how to tell the story of us, replacing it with the data of now. The twist began when they were assigned to audit the Silent Wing, a deep-crust storage facility for pre-digital artifacts. While scanning a crate of Forbidden's fiction books, a containment field flickered. The room didn't just go dark, it became literary. The walls of the archive began to drip with ink. The sterile white floor turned into the yellowed parchment of an ancient scroll. Suddenly, the exit didn't lead to the hallway. It led into a dark, swirling fog, known as the narrative void. Warning, a voice whispered from the ink. The archive has detected a character deficit. You have no backstories. You have no arcs. To exit, you must construct a shared mythos, or you will be archived as blank pages. The void didn't just ask for a story. It forced them to live through the versions of themselves they had suppressed. The villain arc. Suddenly, Cashin was wearing the robes of a tyrant. The archive projected a story where he had married Lyra only to control her assets. The martyr arc. Lyra found herself in a tower of thorns, playing the role of a woman who had sacrificed her identity to keep the grid of their marriage stable. The drama was visceral. The projected stories were so vivid that they began to believe them. Cashin looked at Lyra with suspicion, his mind filled with false memories of a betrayal she never committed. Lyra looked at Cashin and saw a stranger who had stolen her years. "This isn't real, Lyra," Cashin shouted, trying to fend off a physical manifestation of a plot twist. A literal giant ink snake representing his hidden insecurities, isn't it? Lyra screamed back, her voice echoing with the weight of 1,000 unread tragedies. "We don't know who we are. If we aren't these characters, we're nothing." The twist arrived when they realized the archive wasn't trying to kill them. It was trying to fill them. To defeat the villain and the murder, they couldn't just deny the stories. They had to rewrite them. Cashin dropped his tyrant's sword and sat on the ink-stained floor. "Okay," he gasped. "Let's tell a different one. Do you remember the day we met at the orientation? The data says it was 14 o'clock hours. But the story is that the air smelled like ozone, and I thought your laugh sounded like a rebellion." Lyra paused, the thorns around her tower receding slightly. "The story is that I intentionally dropped my tablet, so you would have to help me. I wasn't efficient. I was nervous." As they began to weave their own narrative, the archive's shadows began to lose their power. They weren't just exchanging facts. They were using storytelling as a tool for connection. They told the story of the time they almost failed. They told the story of the secret dream Lyra had of becoming a painter. They told the story of Cashin's fear of being forgotten. The climax, the living anthology. The ink on the walls began to form beautiful, intricate illustrations of their shared life. Not as it appeared on their synapse records, but as it felt in their hearts. The villain and the martyr didn't vanish. They merged into the background, becoming the obstacles that made the protagonists stronger. The archive recognized the resonance. Narrative integrity achieved. The voice boomed. "You are no longer data points. You are a chronicle." The parchment floor turned back into tile. The ink retreated into the books. The doors hissed open. The happy ending, the never-ending book. They returned to Synapse, but they were broken units. They no longer cared about efficiency. They kept a small, unauthorized notebook on their kitchen table. Every night, instead of an operational update, they told each other a story, sometimes a memory, sometimes a dream, sometimes a what-if. They found that a relationship isn't a status report. It's a living anthology. By sharing their stories, they had built a bridge that no data error could ever break. They were no longer afraid of the empty and death of silence, because they knew they had the power to fill it with words. They lived happily and narratively ever after. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe. For more inspiring stories, bye, see you next time.